All right, let's dive into the world of computer hardware. We're going to pull back the curtain on installing new gear, upgrading your PC, and fixing some of those really common, really annoying problems. By the end of this, you're going to feel a whole lot more confident poking around inside your computer. So, let's get to it.
We've all had this moment, right? You get a brand new piece of tech, you're excited to plug it in, and absolutely nothing happens. Or even worse, your trusty screen just goes black out of nowhere. It is so frustrating. But here's the thing. Most of these issues are actually pretty simple to solve. We're going to walk through how to fix them.
Okay, before we even dream of grabbing a screwdriver, we need to cover the basics. You could think of these as the fundamental laws for how your PC works. Once you get these down, everything else just clicks into place and becomes way easier.
These right here, these are basically your cheat codes. The big one to remember is that every single piece of hardware is bossed around by a piece of software, which we call a driver. Oh, and that last one? Seriously, it's a lifesaver. If you install, say, 3 things at once and your computer crashes, you have no idea what caused the problem. Do it one device at a time. It's the pro move, trust me.
Right, let's start with the easy wins, peripherals. We're talking about all the stuff that plugs into the outside of your computer. You know, your keyboard, your webcam, your printer. This is the perfect place to start and build up some confidence.
So the absolute king of all connectors has to be USB. The real magic trick of USB is that it's hot swappable. That's just a geeky way of saying you can plug stuff in and unplug it without having to restart your whole computer. Plus, it sends power through the cable, which is exactly why you can just plug your phone into your laptop to charge it. Pretty cool, right?
Now you've probably seen these little logos 1,000 times and never thought twice about them, but they're actually super important. They're like little road signs telling you the speed limit for that port. A newer super speed port can move data way faster than an old one. And believe me, when you're transferring a huge video file, you'll feel the difference.
Okay, pop quiz. This happens all the time. You get a shiny new, super fast device, but you've got a slightly older computer. You plug that new printer into an old port. What do you think? Is it going to work?
Yep, it will totally work. But, and this is a really big but, it's only going to run at the slower speed of that old port. This perfectly proves one of our golden rules. Your connection is only as fast as its slowest part. It's kind of like putting a race car engine in a go-kart. You're not going to be breaking any speed records.
Okay, so we've got the outside of the computer on lock. Now it's time to level up and get our hands dirty inside the case. This is where the real magic happens, where you can add powerful stuff like a new graphics card or a super fast Wi-Fi card. Now, I know this looks intimidating, but it's actually a super logical process. The most important steps, though, are right at the beginning. Power down, unplug everything, and wear an anti-static wrist strap. Seriously, don't skip this. That little strap prevents static electricity from your body from zapping and destroying the sensitive electronics. After that, it's basically like expensive Legos.
Okay, pay attention to this one, because this is a mistake that trips up so many people. Really powerful cards, especially the ones for gaming and video editing, are super power hungry. They need way more juice than the motherboard slot can give them, so you have to plug in a separate power cable directly from the power supply. Forgetting this is probably the #1 reason a new upgrade doesn't work.
And what about laptops? Well, everything gets way smaller and more packed in. What you're looking at here is a Wi-Fi card. See those tiny, delicate little black and white wires? Those are the antennas. They just snap on and off like little buttons, but you have to be really gentle. It's definitely more like performing surgery than doing construction.
So, what's the point of all this cool hardware if you can't even see it in action? Your video system, that's your monitor and your video card, is pretty much your main window into your entire digital world. So let's make sure that view is perfect. In the world of monitors today, you've really got 2 main technologies, LCD and OLED. The easiest way to think about it is this. An LCD screen is like a stained glass window with a huge, bright light behind it. An OLED screen, though, is more like a mosaic, where every single tiny tile is its own light bulb. That's why OLEDs have those incredible deep blacks. To make black, they just turn the little light bulb completely off.
And this image shows that complex sandwich of layers I was just talking about in an LCD. You don't have to memorize all this, but just take a second to appreciate that to create one single colored dot on your screen, light has to travel through all of these different filters and crystals. It's just an amazing bit of engineering that we stare at all day long.
All right, you've installed the hardware, you get the tech. Now it is time for the final boss fight, troubleshooting. When things inevitably go wrong, this is your game plan to make them right again.
Let's start with a true classic, You hit the power button on your computer, you hear the fans whir to life, but your monitor, it is completely dead. The little power LED is off, there's no image, nothing. Where in the world do you even start?
You always start with the simplest, most obvious thing first. I know it sounds silly, but you would not believe how many times the big, scary problem is just a cable that's come a little bit loose. So before you panic, just make sure every single plug is pushed in all the way.
Okay, next scenario. This one's a little more of a puzzle. The little light on your monitor is on, so you know it's getting power, but the screen is still totally black. Now what?
Well, this tells us the issue is with the video signal. The first thing I'd check is the monitor's own menu to make sure it's on the right input. You know, maybe it's looking for HDMI, but you're plugged into DisplayPort. If that doesn't fix it, it might be time to pop the case open and reseat the video card, which is just a fancy way of saying unplug it and plug it back in firmly.
And when you're in Windows, your absolute best friend for fixing things is the Device Manager. If you open it up and see a device with a little yellow warning triangle on it, that is basically Windows waving its arms and shouting, "Hey, there's a problem right here." This is where you can update or reinstall those super important drivers we talked about.
So that's our tour of installing and fixing your gear. The biggest takeaway should be this: don't be intimidated. Every single complicated problem is really just a bunch of simple steps. Start with the easiest, most obvious fix and just work your way up the ladder. You'll be amazed at what you can solve. Now, the only question is, what are you going to build or fix first?